G'day world, Chris Hogan coming to you live for Myriad 2018. Thanks to Everledger and Invest Sunshine Coast. I'm here with Sandra Gosling, founder of Coyo Coconut Yogurt.
That's it.
And I've eaten this beautiful food. Sandra, thank you so much for bringing it to the world. And it's from here on the Sunshine Coast.
It is. It's the Sunshine Coast innovation. And it was developed in 2009. Entered the market 2010, and with astounding demand for such a product. Been very, very blown away, really, by the way it's been received. Amazing.
Thanks to the plant-based community, possibly.
Yes, I think, and plant-based products are the growth in this area is huge. We didn't understand or realise at the time. We just blindly went in. My husband is from Fiji originally, and so he grew up with coconuts, and hence the interest in that product. And he was managing a dairy company at one stage and then retired.
Yeah.
Yes. And then woke up one morning and said, do you know what? I think I'm going to try and make yogurt out of coconut. I thought he was quite mad.
Yep.
Because there was no such thing on the market. And so started experimenting on the kitchen bench, drove me mad for 12 months, and then finally came up with this amazing product that I was in love with. But we did wonder if it was going to be taken seriously as a product. I mean, yogurt traditionally is a dairy product, therefore coconut yogurt, really, is it going to be taken seriously? And so we were amazed at the way it was accepted. It seemed as though the world was waiting for something like this. So,
So why did your husband think it was important to create it?
I think, first of all, it was all about the coconut. It was benefits of coconut. And from my perspective, I'm a bacteriologist from another life. And so I was, and also I studied naturopathy for some time. And so I had a very much a health slant on all of this. And so I guess with his love of coconut and my love of
bacteria
and bugs in general.
What a fantastic combo.
It just had to happen, didn't it?
Match made in heaven.
It just had to happen. And so it happened. And I took a little bit of convincing, and once I started thinking about it and thought, hang on a minute, we've got probiotics in the yogurt, we've got the benefits of coconut, which I had then studied because I hadn't realised how important a product, the medium chain fatty acids and lauric acid are in coconut, and all those wonderful good fats. And when I put the two together, I had to admit that he was right, just me. But he was. And so in spite of my early objections to the stupid idea, it went ahead. And I had to say, hats off, you did it, Keita. You did well.
Stupid idea becomes a success. I love it.
A great success, yeah.
Fantastic. And so where are you distributing now?
Throughout Australia, we export to New Zealand, so right throughout Australia, and we have a licensee in the UK. She also distributes into Europe, and also we have a licensee in the US who distributes throughout the US, and we are soon to have another distributor in Sweden, distributing throughout Scandinavia and Northern Europe. So it's it's growing.
Yeah, fantastic. And so what's some of the challenges that you've had to overcome with that distribution of it's food, I suppose, but it's just a product?
There have been many, many interesting things because we had no one to ask, because it was the first of its kind. We really created a new food genre. So there was a lot of confusion. For example, we were told in the beginning, you can't call that yogurt, it doesn't contain secretions from a mammary gland. No, I suppose it doesn't. So therefore, that sort of threw us a bit, and we actually thought, well, this is crazy, but it's the same process, the same, no, you this is a dairy terminology and you cannot use the word. And in some countries that still exists.
Okay.
Now, so we said, okay, well, we'll call it yogurt alternative. So that seemed to work for everybody and keep everybody happy. However, now it has become a recognised product. Now the word coconut yogurt is now understood, whereas it wasn't. So that was a challenge.
Yeah, I bet.
That was quite a challenge. also finding reliable suppliers of ethically harvested coconut was another challenge for us. So it was a matter of running around coconut plantations in Asia and Sri Lanka and all over the world trying to find where we could source ethically sustainable coconuts from plantations that were sustainable. And so that was a challenge. We got that one sorted. And then really I guess it's been explaining the product and educating people as to the benefits of it. It's a lot more expensive than dairy, and I suppose if you see a dairy yogurt and a coconut yogurt sitting side by side on a shelf, you're going to think, why would I pay that so much more for coconut yogurt than dairy? Obviously our raw product is many times more expensive than dairy milk. The other thing that I'm particularly passionate about is actually taking it beyond just yogurt, but into the plant-based world in general. And when we look at the sustainability of a lot of dairy product that we produce, and all these wonderful farmers that are doing such a great job, but the sustainability of a lot of this is a worry.
Absolutely.
And we need to help a lot of these farmers, I believe, transition into more plant-based industries and products that can help sustain the product, the planet, and really just look after it.
So maybe the dairy farmers need to start planting coconut palms.
I would love them to do that.
Well, it's interesting. I come from a farming background and a dairy farmer's background, and they essentially just went out of business like most dairy farms seem to be doing, which is sad. But it's fantastic that you were able to introduce the probiotics. Tell me about that process. Was there any major challenges you had to overcome? Is coconut actually antibacterial in itself and therefore combats the...
Interesting question. It is. Antibacterial, antiviral, so therefore it's one of its benefits.
Yes.
And so is it going to kill off the lovely bugs? Are we going to put them in just for them to get knocked off with the antibacterial activity? The answer is no. They don't, but we have to. So whilst the process of making yogurt is the same process as making a dairy yogurt, we use specific bacteria. And of course all vegan based, so because we're totally dairy, so we can't use certain, and that was another challenge, sourcing genuine vegan cultures that weren't grown out on skim milk, which most cultures are. And so that was a challenge. But no, that's an interesting question. I've never been asked that before, but it's a very logical one. Maybe it's why it takes longer to ferment, because maybe they're battling each other, or maybe one of them's saying, you're not meant to be here, you're going to win. But yeah, that's a pretty interesting thing. I haven't really thought about that before, but it is. So we have a different, although it's the same process or similar process. We're dealing with an oil here. We're not dealing with a fat that's in a dairy product. We're also dealing with a product that doesn't have nearly as much sugar or lactose. It just has no lactose, of course. So we're dealing with that, and we don't use sugars in our yogurt. So it obviously takes longer because it's looking for more to eat. But it works.
Have you had any help along the way that you would like to recognise, from maybe governments, people? How have you gotten this far?
We had a lot of help initially. We were very, I suppose, obviously new at this thing, and we had a lot of help from Sunshine Coast, who would counsel, who set us up with a lot of people, experts in their field, who were able to act as critiques and critics of the product and ask us the questions that we should be asking ourselves, and then obviously recently FAN, Food and Agri Networking Organisation, has been set up, which is fantastic. So that we all network together, we bounce off each other, and that kind of support, and hopefully we can now give back to that and share our experiences of what worked for us and what didn't, and all the benefits of doing it this way or that way, and also leveraging off each other. So keeping our costs down, and just leveraging, which is great, and just interesting people like today. Just talking to all these wonderful people, it's fantastic.
And have you had to raise any money along the way, or has it all been self-funded?
It has all been self-funded so far.
Fantastic. So even, from developing the first product, you bootstrapped your way to do that and then sell it.
We did. It was a very small operation, and I do remember Henry having to go out, way out, about 60k out every time we made a batch of yogurt, and he would make it out at this. There was a factory up towards Gympie where we made the yogurt initially in very small batches, and it was packed out there, all packed up, brought into our. We had 4 acres in Yandina, Ninjari, and we had cool rooms at the back of our old shed, and the yogurt would come in at 1 o'clock in the morning. A truck would trundle down our drive, and we thought, oh no, here it comes, and you'd trundle out in the wet with your gumboots and your dressing gown and load it up onto a trolley and trolley it into the cool rooms and think, and that's sort of how it started and the challenges. So yes, and I guess we threw everything we had into it. We had any funding that we could get our hands on from selling that property or doing that or doing whatever at all. We actually just totally committed to it, and it was scary. Shut the back door on it, and went, okay, this had better happen.
Well, fantastic.
It was
and
scary.
so we're 9 years young now.
Yes, yeah. You started in 2010, so yeah, 8, 9, going on 9.
And I love your product. I love it. And we were just talking about one of the interesting challenges you had with. I don't know if people understand this if they haven't tasted it, but a kimchi flavoured coconut yogurt. I love kimchi, and I understand there's some challenges around that. Do you want to share those?
Yeah, there are some very funny challenges around that. So, once again, my interest in gut health and fermenting vegetables was just the ultimate way to eat veggies for me, and so I thought I would love to see that in a yogurt. And so we formulated our recipe for that, and so we have to make a very, very, very strong brew because, of course, it's going to be diluted with yogurt. So it has to be a much stronger brew. Blow your head off that
Awesome.
stuff.
Did you try any raw?
Oh yeah, it's quite addictive actually. And so the challenge there was because it was so active, and then sort of combining with the yogurt, so the two of them together were having a ball, and our challenge was keeping the lids on.
Literally, not keeping it quiet.
No, it was explosive stuff. So, and we would have, it fooled us because we'd do a batch and it behaved itself perfectly, and the retailers, it was just running off the shelves, and then all of a sudden we'd get a whole spate of phone calls from our poor retailers saying, luckily we sort of trialled it in just a select few to begin with, and they'd say, oh dear, because we had 3 flavours. There was a beetroot, so they were pink fridges. We had orange kimchi, so they were orange fridges, and then we had a spicy crab, they were green fridges. So we have a green fridge today. We have oh no. So and we couldn't figure out why. We'd go along, and there was a batch that was absolutely perfect, no tops blow. The problem is in the veggies themselves, and because it's wild fermentation, we don't know exactly it's wild, it's natural, it's wild.
Yeah.
And so now and again we get a bit of a rogue one in there,
Right.
and it gets a bit excited and reacts with the rest of it. So we've just got to get that bit sorted, and then we're away again with that. But it is a fabulous product. You become quite addicted to that when it's in your fridge. It just goes on top of everything, all your veggies.
Yeah.
It's just stunning.
I eat kimchi like it's going out of fashion there. and the coconut yogurt, my kids just love it.
Really?
My youngest, loves it. And I'm like, yes. Don't worry about the dairy. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, we've got you there. So thanks so much for your time, Sandra.
Yes, great
it was
talking to you.
fantastic. So how do people stay across Coyo? Do you have a Facebook page we can tag you on?
Yeah, we have a website that takes you to all the other Instagrams and all of our communication. So,
Cool.
Yep. So
Fantastic.
you can see us.
Keep watching. Plenty more coming to you live from Myriad 2018. And thanks so much to Everledger and Invest Sunshine Coast for bringing us here to Myriad and sharing stories like this. Cheers, guys.